product so much that after the proof of concept, they actually came back and they said they would like to acquire the company.
Namaskar, we have a serial entrepreneur, a technopreneur from Silicon Valley, Viren Rana, joining us on YoIndiaTV today. Welcome, sir.
Thank you,
It's a bright morning. How's the feel in San Francisco?
It's great. I guess went for a quick run this morning. Weather's great, so I think can't complain.
So, it's a whole technology environment here in Silicon Valley. People are trying to get to the newer stuff, particularly on the AI and the generative AI side, which is the new trend. But you have evolved as one of those successful entrepreneurs that everyone else is striving for. I mean, many people here in Valley are striving for. So tell us a little about your journey and your association with, or your views, I would say, on AI.
So as far as my journey is concerned, I came to US in 1996 as a mainframe programmer, worked for about a couple of years. And then I quickly realized that when people used to say that US is a land of opportunity, it really is a land of opportunity. And I actually, started a consulting company in 1998 with somebody, and then worked on that for about 2 years. Left that and did a messaging startup, between 98 to early part of 2002. And that one actually didn't go anywhere because if you remember, nothing was working in the Valley back in 99, 2000. We had the whole .com crash. And then, in 2002, I started a fintech called ISTS Worldwide. So there we were doing solutions for the payments industry on the acquiring side for retailers, payment processors, banks. And we built that company to about 400 people. In 2011, that company was acquired by Clear2Pay out of Belgium. And that's when, my two boys, Arjun and Aditya, were young, and we decided to give it a try, and we moved back to India after I sold ISTS Worldwide to Clear2Pay, and there I was actually heading the India operations for Clear2Pay. I was there for about 3 years, and then in 2014 November, we sold Clear2Pay to FIS. And I didn't want it to work for a large company because being an entrepreneur, I was not a corporate person. And based on my experience then, I basically, realized that the cloud had started and we needed a modern payment processing infrastructure for the banks, the payment processors and the retailers, because everybody was running technology that was built in the 80s and 90s. So we started in early part of 2015 YoIndiaTV Technologies, which was a cloud native, cloud agnostic payment processing infrastructure company. And we did pretty good. We started building the product. We built a great team. And as the products were coming along well, and we just had started signing up deals, but then COVID hit. And that was like the worst year and a half for the company because we had no revenues and we were burning capital. We couldn't raise outside capital because that time nobody was investing in startups. So, but I think we as a team stuck together, and that's where I would say to people that if you believe in something, don't give up. Eventually it will work out. I had to sell about 4 properties to survive that company in that 18 months, which I did not hesitate, and I can say it on record. So I sold 2 here in the US and 4 properties in India to survive the company. But we came out stronger out of COVID, and and we signed some of the largest banks in each geography. We had the largest bank in South Africa as our customer. We had the largest bank in UK as our customer, and then we had one of the larger payment processor as a customer. And then in 2021, we actually went to sell a software license to JP Morgan Chase Bank because they were looking to modernize their payments infrastructure. And we actually did a proof of concept, and they liked our platforms and products so much that after the proof of concept, they actually came back and they said they would like to acquire the company.
Wow.
And that was like, I couldn't believe it at first, but, we, negotiated, and I think, they gave us a deal that we could not refuse. It was a great deal for me as a founder and all my team members. And we closed that deal in October of 2022. So October 31st, 2022, Renovite Technologies was acquired by JP Morgan Chase Bank. And I was part of their payment processing payments team as managing director. From 1st November, we took, we integrated the company well, and it was one of the best integrations that you could have had in an M&A. And I, left JP Morgan end of August. And as you said, these days everything is, AI, and people talking about generative AI. I think it's going to change our lives to a great deal in the future. And September 1st, a couple of months back, I launched another startup called Nimbus Pay Technologies. Mm-hmm. So with Renovite, we solved the payment processing infrastructure problem for the acquirers. This time we are solving the problem on the issuing side. So we're going to build a modern card issuing platform that's going to be cloud native, cloud agnostic, and will help the banks replace technologies that they are running today from the 80s and 90s.
Wow,
and that's
beautiful.
That's going to use a lot of AI, piece for fraud checks, data reporting, and stuff like that.
How do you actually identify the gaps now that the fintech has advanced so much,
I think, just based on your experience in the industry, talking to people in the industry, attending trade shows, I think, it does help you to, identify the gaps. And, I've been in the fintech space almost over 20 years. Mm-hmm. So I have a good experience and able to identify these gaps. And we believe this time, we're going to build a platform that's, going to be a game changer for the card issuing industry.
And as regards payments, like your platform serves the industries, or it's for the retail?
So, if you look at today, it was for the payment processors, the banks, and the retailers. Mm-hmm. All of them could use it. Anybody that was processing payments. Mm-hmm. Also, what has happened, right? There's a lot of innovation that has happened in the payment space. There's newer payment tokens that have come up, right? And you could use your email as a payment token, your phone number as a payment token, your account number as a payment token. It's no longer your 16-digit card number as a payment token. Mm-hmm. So a lot has changed in the last few years. So our platform was flexible enough for you to be able to process and take anything as a payment token. So which was not available in the legacy technologies. Everything was just using the 16-digit card number to process payments. Mm-hmm.
And in the backend, what was the tech stack that you used?
So we always used cloud native technologies, Java J2E, latest stack, and Kubernetes. So we made it cloud native and cloud agnostic, which meant that our platforms were easily portable from AWS to Azure to Google Cloud or Oracle Cloud, whichever cloud the clients were using.
That's fantastic. So as regards the application of GenAI, how do you see its use in the fintech world?
I think there is a lot, that can be done, from AI, Gen AI point of view in the fintech space. Like especially on the debt management, just today to give you an example, right, is all the credit bureaus, right, they have data that's 90 days delayed, right? Mm-hmm. And you can use, AI ML to basically push data instantly, where they could get real-time feeds of your data, and they should be able to have your latest information on credit card, bank accounts, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So you could do that in the card issuing space that we are the product that we are going to build now. We are going to use it to basically do real-time decisioning on fraud checks. Mm-hmm. And also build large ML models, basically where the decision can be made in real time, whether to give you overdraft, not to give you overdraft. So a lot of things that will be using to help the banks, take care of their customers.
So, even in the current day world, when we have secured phones, I have seen like a lot of users are not very comfortable with using the that level 3 Android, which is really security strong. They have those type 2 kind of devices which are weak on security. They don't have all the features like biometrics and stuff, which has become pretty popular from authentication standpoint. Right. So how do you solve that problem?
I mean, not a security expert, and I've actually not been an Android user for last almost, I think since iPhone came into the picture, so always been using that. But I think definitely one of the things that I've seen between also here and India, the multi-factor authentication MFA is coming into play, right? Just to give you an example, right? What we plan to do is on our platform is, if we feel a transaction is suspicious, right? So before we say yay or no, the platform would actually send a text. We're able to send a text to the user to authenticate and say, hey, we have this much charge from this retailer. Is it you trying to make the charge, or yes or no? And then we would be able to in real time be able to authorize that transaction. Mm-hmm. So I think, the MFA solves it, but again, not a security expert by any means. Mm-hmm.
So, there are so many players today in the fintech space. The competition is very hard. It's neck to neck, and as we are evolving with newer technologies, it is becoming stiffer than ever. It's, I would say that cutthroat level is on the increase. How do you see the market?
I think, yes, but I think companies that would have technology that is flexible to meet the needs, because, the fintech space is evolving every single day. So they're changing, whether it's your regulatory changing, whether it's your Fed now that's coming into picture where you'll be able to pay with your account number, whether, it's, biometric payments coming into play. Mm-hmm. So people or companies that have flexible and modern technology will be able to win the war than companies that have legacy technologies.
Mm-hmm. And some people are still not so very comfortable with the cloud, they want to keep a lot of things on-prem, and which they think is more in their control than putting it somewhere away. And especially when it's somebody's cloud, it's not your cloud, either a Google cloud or Oracle cloud, or a public space. So how do you see those kind of emotions?
I think, cloud is here to stay. I think everybody has embraced cloud in some form or the other. Mm-hmm. But I can speak like from the bank's point of view that are highly regulated entities, right? I think, will they ever be able to run 100% on cloud? I don't think so. Mm-hmm. Because, there are regulations that they would need to keep certain things on-prem and under their control. Mm-hmm. But I think, as I said, cloud is here to stay, and, everybody's embraced. I mean, we even at JP Morgan, the largest bank in the world, we had a big push for cloud. Mm-hmm. So, everybody's adopted cloud in some form or the other.
Mm-hmm. In terms of collaboration and the rules, how do you see the role of Fiserv and Experian and the credit rating agencies?
I think this whole debt management space is going through a very interesting times, to say the least, right? And I think all these companies, the credit rating, agencies, they're also running a lot of, old technologies, right? So they themselves are going through modernization phases where they would want real-time feeds on, a lot of the data, right? So let's say you as a consumer, when you pay off your credit card, it takes 90 days for them to get the feed. Mm-hmm. So why can't it be real time? So I know, I mean, I don't want to name names, but, mm-hmm. there are credit agencies that are working on solutions that they would get real time feeds that will basically help the consumer, because if let's say you paid $10,000 on a credit card today, mm-hmm. and tomorrow somebody is checking your, credit score, I think they'll get a better score if it's a real time feed. So I think a lot of that is going to happen, in that space. I think there are also companies that would basically help some of these guys to do, better ACH stuff, because I think there's just a ruling that came in that if you try ACH more than twice or thrice a month, and if the consumer does not have enough, money in their bank account, you won't be able to do that again. So, there would be solutions, and that's the solution that, there's a startup that's building out, basically to help with that. And, also, I've also invested in a lot of startups around the globe. And in fact, one of the investments that I've made, they are a unicorn in India. And I've also invested in AI startups in Silicon Valley. One is Uno.ai. They basically are providing AI-based GRC solution. There's another fintech, Spinwheel.io. They are providing AI-based debt management stuff. So I also do invest in startups and advise a couple of AI-based startups in India, like Fabi.ai is another one in India that I've invested. So, I do that as well.
So overall, in terms of the economy, since you are a fintech expert, and we see the inflation rates going up both in India and in US. In India, it has gone up significantly more as compared to US, but we didn't expect even this rate of inflation in US. Seeing the trends in yesteryears versus very recently now in the last 5 to 7 years, it has really grown exponentially. How it has impacted the overall economy here in US and back in India?
I think in the US, right, I think a lot of money was introduced in the system during COVID times, right? A lot of liquidity was introduced. I think the interest rates were pretty low for a long time. And, I think now you see that definitely, I think the inflation is a little bit under control. But also what I see is a common phenomenon, whether it's India, US, or around the globe. The gap between the rich and the poor is actually increased quite significantly in the last few years, which is, I think, a big concern for all, governments around the globe. So I think there needs to be a solution for that, because, definitely here, the inflation is, pretty high. The house values have almost literally doubled or tripled in the last 3-4 years in Silicon Valley. And there's really, if you look at it, nothing that has happened to basically sustain, except that the, liquidity was introduced. So I think, as our JPMC CEO said it, I mean, I think we have to be cautious. We have to, keep watching what happens. I think there's also, a lot of geopolitical issues that can impact the economy, whether in India or US. So we'll have to see how that plays out. I think so. I mean, as an individual, I'm taking a very cautious approach in my asset allocation between, how much debt, how much bonds, and how much cash I hold.
And as you spoke about the geopolitical issues, I would really like to point to China, which has become an emerging power, and particularly a strong financial power from Asia, which is in fact trying to dominate the world through its base on the manufacturing side. So what are your comments regarding that?
I think, China definitely has strength when it comes to manufacturing. But I think the fact that they do not have too much, transparency in their financial systems is a problem. So, that's where I think US plays a big role in the world. If you look at it, I mean, the financial systems here are very transparent. Your NASDAQ, companies know when it's, Fortune 500 companies, it meets certain standards, right? And even I meet, rich folks in India and around the globe, everybody has their money invested in the US market. Why? Because there's transparency, right? And so I don't think, China will ever get to that stage. But I think when it comes to manufacturing, I think the world needs China for that. But I think definitely India, Vietnam, and some of these countries are being considered as alternatives, especially after the COVID. So there's a lot of manufacturing activity that's happening in India. And a lot of companies are coming in India, and also I've heard a lot of companies going to Vietnam to create alternate manufacturing, paths for themselves.
So in US, a lot of startups take pride in ringing the NASDAQ bell. and lately we have seen a lot of Indians, go there and do that. By Indians, I mean Indian Americans, of course. So, what's your take on those who do achieve this status and those who don't, and how do they get there? Because the journey is different from everyone, of course. But how do you see these journeys, and how would you inspire them to get there if they haven't?
I mean, I don't have experience getting there. I would love to. I admire everybody that's, been through that path and have achieved that level of success. I think, as an Indian American, I'm very proud of the community. I think, the community's done great. I think in terms of the tech industry, whether you, see Sundar Pichai, whether you see the Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, you see Nikesh Arora leading Palo Alto Networks, and you, as you said, you see a lot of new companies that are going and ringing these bells. I think it's a lot of hard work. People think it's easy. It's not easy, but people who persevere and work hard, they can get there. So hopefully someday with my third startup, I hope we can get there.
So as Diwali is approaching and we all are trying to seek blessings from Goddess Lakshmi, trying to mint our money, trying to amplify our investments and all, what's your message to all the viewers of YoIndiaTV?
I just want to wish everybody a very, very happy Diwali. Wish everybody a lot of health, happiness and success. I think it's important to stay healthy and take care of the environment. So, I think stay healthy, keep, planting trees, especially all my friends in India, we do that quite a bit. So they try to plant a lot of trees around Diwali in India.
Wonderful. And it was really nice talking to you. Hope you had some good key takeaways from this conversation as well, and wish you all the best in your journey. With this, I, Jasleen Khanuja, would wrap up from this wonderful fintech discussion on YoIndiaTV. See you next time in another show. Goodbye for now.